What's up, YouTube? Welcome back for another video. Today we got playoff predictions, and I know week 1 game started. I made these predictions before week 1, but due to having a busy schedule, I wasn't able to get this video out just in time. But the games for week 1 will not affect my predictions. These are all picks I made before the week 1 games. So yeah, and we're gonna predict the AFC side first. Then we're gonna go to the NFC side. We're gonna go and pick each matchup as well until we get to the Super Bowl matchup. And yeah, with all that said, let's get started. So we got on the AFC side. The AFC side is pretty was pretty difficult to pick. Um, but winning the AFC, I got the Bengals. The Bengals, they're a complete team, and I know they got humiliated by the Browns yesterday, but still, it's just week 1. You can't take a whole season outlook just from the week 1 game. Um, they got Joe Burrow. He just got paid. He's gonna ball out. You got weapons: Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, Tyler Boyd. They still got Joe Mixon. The O-line still seems to be like a little problem, but the defense is actually pretty good, and I think might be better than last year. So with all that said, and I think the other competitive teams in this division might have took a step down. So I think that leaves an opening for the Bengals to snag up that one spot for the AFC side. So in second, I actually have the Dolphins. Now this is a bold pick, but I'm gonna stick with it just because they have an explosive offense and their defense should get better under Vic Fangio. I know they didn't look all that great yesterday, but I feel like it will continually progress as the season goes on. And I didn't make these picks for week 1. So before week 1. So Tua, I think as long as he stays healthy, this team will score a lot of points. Tyreek Hill, he's the fastest receiver in the league. Jalen Waddle, the best number 2 receiver in the league as well. And I don't think our running back situation is that bad. We have a running back committee. Mostert is still able to get yards. Our O-line is pretty mid, not the greatest, but I think they can be compared to like the Bengals when they made the Super Bowl against the Rams that one year, where they didn't have a pretty good O-line, but the offense was explosive enough to make up for it. So with that, as well as the defense, I got the Dolphins in second. In third, I got the Chiefs. Now, I do think they took a step down, especially with their weapons, and that showed on the Thursday night game. So they're definitely going to struggle until Kelsey comes back. And even with that, it still might be an uphill battle for the Chiefs. I do think they're going to struggle early on and then get the groove of things later in the season. But with that, I think, I don't know. I think they downgraded this year. So that's my main reason for them having them at third. But the defense is still pretty solid, an underrated part of this team. But the lack of weapons is really going to get to this team, I believe. So with that, I got Chiefs at third. In fourth, I got the Jags. Now, the Jags are in the easiest division in the AFC. They're definitely, I feel like this is the safest pick to put them at 4 for the team and the location of the team in the playoff seed. Yeah, I don't think they're good enough to compete with the other 3 teams, but they'll definitely be the 4 seed just to winning the division alone. Not much competition there. So yeah, Jags at 4. T-Law is the dog. He's the dog. ETN is still good. Calvin Ridley's gonna ball out this season. So I think what they gotta fix is just that defense and the O-line, and if they can get that situated, they'll be able to compete. In fifth, I got the New York Jets. Now this team looks scary on paper, but I feel like that offense is a bit overrated. I know they have Aaron Rodgers. I do think he's past his prime though, and that O-line, it does seem to be like struggling. If you look at Hard Knocks and the preseason games, it doesn't look all that good. I feel like that'll be a constant trouble throughout the season for them. But they do have weapons, They do have Garrett Wilson, Alan Lazard, Randall Cobb, and they do have most of the receivers do have chemistry with AR, and Garrett Wilson will probably build chemistry with AR pretty quick. But I just think he's past his prime, man. I think the pressure if you're able to pressure him, the pressure will get to him. Um, and I think we're just gonna see kind of like a downturn for him this season. But we'll see though. I still think they're good enough to get a wild card spot. Just not good enough to compete with other teams as well. Kind of similar to the Jags, but that defense is like scary though. That defense looks real good and has potential to be a top 5 defense in the league. So it's me putting more respect on the defense than the offense for me putting them at 5th. So Jets at 5th. Next, we got Bills at 6. Bills, I think they downgraded as well. That defense, they're relying on aging vets coming off significant injuries, and they lost some of their young players, such as Jermaine Edmonds. He went to the Bears. But with that, they mainly focused their goal this offseason on the offense. They got Dalton Kincaid at tight end spot, and they still have Josh Allen, Stephon Diggs, Gabriel Davis. So I think the threat with this team is going to be the offense and not necessarily the defense. And the defense, I think, will allow some points. So I think they will struggle a little bit this season, but not enough where they don't make the playoffs. The last spot, this is the hardest one to pick, but I got the Ravens. It could have been the Chargers, Broncos, Steelers, Browns. Who else could it have been? Potentially the Titans? Nah, not really. Am I missing anyone? Let's see. No, I don't. I think those are the only contenders I can think of. But yeah, Ravens at 7th. With that, Lamar Jackson, he's still a beast. He has to stay healthy though. But even if he's not, even if it goes down, they have a suitable backup in Tyler Huntley. I mean, they got 2 Pro Bowlers in the same quarterback room. But Pro Bowl became a joke now. But with that, they still have Tyler Huntley. He's still a serviceable backup. They finally added weapons for him. I can't wait to see what Zay Flowers do this season. I can't wait to see what he does this season. Rashad Bateman, I'm high on Rashad Bateman. They had Odell Beckham Jr. The O-line is still good. Running backs, J.K. Dobbins just went out for the season yesterday. That's crazy. But they usually have good running back depth. I feel so bad for J.K. Dobbins. His second career-ending injuries, and he's still young. So I hope he recovers, man. I'm really hoping for him. But the Ravens, the key is staying healthy. They always seem to get injured somehow. They also have one of the best tight ends in Mark Andrews. He's always a great weapon to have. The defense is always stepping up to the game, They always take a step up. So with that, I'm trusting the coaching, the culture of the Ravens to take that 7th spot, and the experience. With that said, Bengals automatically move on for being the number 1 seed. So we're going to look at Jags and Jets. Now, if you look at the Jags and Jets, this is a good matchup. I feel like the Jets defense will overwhelm the Jags offense. And with that, I don't think the Jags defense will be able to. They're not much of a threat for the Jets offense. For AR, he has the experience. Well, the Jags are still young, developing. They'll get that playoff experience. But for now, I'm leaning the Jets as they do have most of the vets there. So the first matchup for the next round, we got Bengals and Jets. So moving on to the next game, we got Chiefs and Bills. And like I said, both teams kind of took a downturn this year, but they're still great teams. But I am leaning towards the Chiefs as the Bills defense. I don't see as much of a threat. And having the lack of receivers won't be too much of a problem, I think. The Bills, they do have an explosive offense, but that Chiefs defense is still solid enough. So I think they'll be able to limit the Bills' points. Whereas I think the Bills struggle to limit the Chiefs in points. But, they got Patrick Mahomes, the best quarterback. I'm trusting the best quarterback in the game. So give me Pat Mahomes and the Chiefs to move on to the next round. And then the last wild card round game, we got Dolphins at Ravens. I think the Dolphins could be too fast. The Ravens are already dealing with injuries, so we'll see what kind of injuries they'll deal with by the time of this game. And I think the Dolphins' defense will progressively get better and probably be one of the best in the league. So we'll see. That could backfire on me, but that offense is no joke. It's definitely one of the top 5 offense, and they got weapons for days. That team got weapons. So I'm going to trust the Dolphins here. I feel like they have a good chance to make a deep run. So give me the Dolphins to move on next round. And with that, we're in the divisional round. We're gonna go on. We're gonna start with Bengals and Jets. And I think this is where the offense for the Jets is gonna kind of catch up to them. I'm gonna take the Bengals. I'm more trusting of that offense, and they have a solid defense to at least slow down the Jets' offense. Jets defense will be tough, but how how long will you be able to stop Joe Burrow, Jamar Chase? I know the Browns are able to do it, but it's week one. But once you run in the playoff and get things going, that's gonna be such a tough offense to stop. So with that, I'm gonna go with the Bengals. I feel like the team this year will be the better offense. Teams are gonna make it. Usually it's been defense wins championships, but I feel like the team this year will be offense wins championships. So with that said, I'm going with the Bengals conference championship game. Next one we got Chiefs and Dolphins, and I'm gonna go with another upset. I'm going with the Dolphins. I know it's not really an upset since they're the higher seed, but everyone would be picking the Chiefs in this situation. They got Patrick Mahomes, they got the playoff experience, they're the two-time champs, right? So all things point for the Chiefs, but that lack of weapons is going to catch up to them. Our defense will be good, and we will have Jalen Ramsey at the time of this game. So with all that said, our offense will be too fast for that defense as well. It's just speed, man. Speed kills. So that's why I'm so heavy on the Dolphins, man. They're a pretty balanced team. So with that, I got the Dolphins. Conference championship game, I got Bengals and Dolphins. And man, it's two great offense. It's going to be a high-scoring game. But I think the difference will be the Dolphins' defense. By this time, like I said earlier, we got Jalen Ramsey, and we'll have X on the other side. This is improved defense, Vic Fangio defense. Joe Burrow's nice, though. I do like Joe Burrow. But, man, I'm just loving the Dolphins right now, man. I just think they have a team set up to win now. They have a team to make a deep run. They got depth at almost every position except O-line, really. And running back, but I do trust the running backs we do have. We got weapons for days and receivers. We got Tua. That's the key, though. I'm not one to predict injuries, but I'm gonna just, as long as they stay healthy, I think they have a good shot at making the Super Bowl. So give me the Dolphins to win the AFC side. I know that's kind of bold, but I'm going bold this year. I'm going bold. All right, moving on to the NFC side. At first, I got the Cowboys, and at second, I got the Seahawks. Now, Cowboys at first is not because of the Sunday night game. I literally was high on them before the season started, so I'm sticking with it. I got Cowboys at first. I feel like that defense could be nasty, and they showed out last night. So I don't know. It's just pointed that way. I got Cowboys. I feel like that offense is being underrated just because Dak had issues with the interceptions, but I feel like that naturally. Like you would have to do better than 14 picks in one season. So in second, I got the Seahawks. I know that doesn't look great right now, but it was mostly me trusting that offense, and the defense improving, I thought, but it didn't really show yesterday. But they always have a good secondary. I feel like they're young, so I think they're gradually going to get better throughout the season. And the offensive line is going to get better as well. They got Geno Smith. They got depth at running back. I like their running back group, the receiver group. I'm high on this team. I feel like they can make some moves, and they're coached by Pete Carroll. So I think they have an opportunity to get second. And third, we got the Lions, the brand new Lions. And they're already looking hot right now. You got the explosive offense. Jahmyr Gibbs looks solid. He looks explosive. He just needs more opportunities. David Montgomery took most of the snaps, and Dan Campbell. I love Dan Campbell. I think he's a great coach. I think they'll definitely have what it takes to win this division. They got weapons. They got running backs. They got the defense looks good for the Lions. They got Aiden Hutchinson. I think they're going to improve that defense, and they're just going to improve as a team in general. So, with that said, give me the Lions. In fourth, I got the Saints. I think they have what it takes to win their division. They're going to be good. I don't think there's going to be much competition in that division, except for the Falcons. I think they'll be able to compete for that division. But other than that, I don't think the Bucks or the Panthers will compete. The Saints still have a solid defense. They have a good defense. The offense is now going to be led by Derek Carr, and I'm a believer in Derek Carr. And they got weapons. Chris Olave, Michael Thomas, and I like the running back group, and I feel like the O-line is still solid. And then in fifth, the first wild card team, I got the Eagles. There's only the first wild card team because the Cowboys, I think, will win the division, but they might keep it close. They could easily be the one seed in this division as well, but for now they're at fifth. They still have most of their guys from last year. Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown's gonna have another year to build that chemistry and the connection. The offensive line is still good. The defense is still great. No real concerns for this team. Maybe the only concern, probably the secondary a little bit. They got aging guys at the cornerback spot, but Darius Slay still got that pick six. So it's hard to say that, but I'm trusting the Eagles. I think they're still gonna be good, and they're definitely gonna go for a run. In six, I got the Niners, and so far this pick doesn't look so great, but I've made it before week one, and I'm gonna stick with it, just to honor that. Brock Purdy was a concern of mine because of consistency. I know he had a good year one, but we'll see how he does this year. And so far, it looks like they're gonna go off for an amazing start. They got weapons everywhere. Christian McCaffrey, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk had a hell of a game. George Kittle, that defense is still nasty. I was concerned over the secondary, but man, they showed out like against the Steelers. So my concerns aren't really like concerns anymore. But I'm just gonna honor the placement of where I put them before the season started. So for now, 49ers are 6. The last wildcard team, I got the Falcons. I'm high on the Falcons. I feel like Desmond Ridder will just have to be a game manager. He has weapons all around him. They added more depth of receiver for him. So who are they at? Mac Hollins and another receiver that I can't think of right now. But I think what's really going to help this team is that they brought in a lot of new key starters for the defense. Brian Calais Campbell and Jesse Bates, which is huge. I think this defense will definitely improve from what it was last year, which was not the greatest last year, which was definitely holding them back. But they got Bijan Robinson. I think they're going to be an explosive offense with a decent defense. So with that, I think you got 7th, but they could easily be 4th as well. So the Cowboys move on to the next round, and before we talk about the Saints-Eagles, I'm going to talk about the Lions-49ers. I feel like the 49ers will win this game. I know Dan Campbell, they'll bite kneecaps, but I think the 49ers are too much for the Lions. They'll overwhelm them. They look great. Their offense can do anything they want. So with that, I got Cowboys and the 49ers for the next matchup. So now we'll go with the Saints and Eagles. I feel like it's going to be a similar thing. I feel like the Eagles defense is going to overwhelm that Saints offense, and the Eagles will be able to do what they want on the Saints defense. This team is just loaded. They're definitely one of the top teams in this conference. So I'm going to go with the Eagles, and then let's talk about the Seahawks and Falcons. Seahawks, Falcons. This one, I was leaning towards the Seahawks, just because that offense is more proven. That team is more proven. They got the playoff experience. So next round, give me Eagles and Seahawks. So with that said, we'll move on to the divisional games. I got Cowboys and 49ers. Now that's going to be a heck of a game. Ooh, man. I'm actually leaning towards the Cowboys. I feel like they're on a win. Well, they're both on win now mode. But I feel like Cowboys are out to prove something. That defense, I feel like it's complete defense. I don't have any concerns over it. Whereas originally I did have concerns over the secondary for the 49ers. But I don't have that with the Cowboys as they have Trevon Diggs and Stephon Gilmore. And Micah Parsons could easily be the defensive player of the year. I feel like Dak Prescott is gonna show out. By show out, I mean maybe score enough points to win this game, not like go all over the 49ers defense. But they added weapons for him. They still have Tony Pollard. They added Brandon Cooks. The O line is still solid. So give me the Cowboys in that matchup. And for the next one, I just spoiled it. I got the Eagles. Same thing. I feel like the Eagles defense is gonna overwhelm the Seahawks offense. You won't be able to do much, and I don't think that defense is good enough to stop the Eagles or Jalen Hurts and AJ Brown. Now, the conference championship game. Cowboys, Eagles. I feel like they're going to split the series 1-1 during the season, the regular season games. Now, this is where they're going to settle it. And I actually think the Cowboys are going to take it. Like I said, that defense is out to prove something. I feel like the Eagles won't be as good as they were last year on defense, but they're still going to be one of the better defenses in the league. I feel like they're just going to have the Super Bowl hangover, as in they won't make the Super Bowl again. It's not really a hangover when you make the conference championship game, but I think they're going to take a step down. Then, like, they're going to take a step down from last year and not be as great as they were last year. So with that, I feel like the Cowboys and Eagles, if both teams are healthy, I'm leaning towards Cowboys. And that's my Super Bowl prediction. I got the Dolphins and the Cowboys for Super Bowl 58. And that one, if you ask me, I don't know if I can give you a winner. If you ask me like a biased pick, I'm taking the Dolphins. Unbiased, probably Cowboys. So there you have it. Super Bowl matchups, playoff predictions. There we go for this year. I can't wait. Let's see. At the end of the year, we'll go back and look at all these predictions, and we'll go over and discuss where I went right and where I went wrong. So with that said, thank you guys for watching the video. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and comment down below where you think I went wrong and where I went right. So with that, catch you next time. Peace.